What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, over the course of the entire free agency period, the Chicago Bulls made some bold moves. Obviously trading Caruso, letting DeMar DeRozan walk in free agency, and bringing in guys like Josh Giddey, Chris Duarte, Jalen Smith, and the list goes on. Even in the draft, we've made some bold moves. And one of those bold moves was keeping Patrick Williams on a long-term deal. I believe that long-term deal was 4 years, 18 million, maybe it was 5 years, 18 million. I'm not too sure the years. Regardless, it was a pretty hefty price to pay for Patrick Williams. So today's video is going to be discussing whether or not he can live up to that contract and what is it going to take to live up to that type of contract. We'll discuss a little bit about it and more in this video. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about whether or not you believe Patrick Williams can live up to that $18 million per season contract. Now, the reason why I say live up to that type of contract is because many people believed he didn't deserve that type of contract. Many people, and I still believe there is some people to this day that will say Patrick Williams doesn't deserve this type of contract. Regardless of how you may feel, this is the contract that he got. And at the end of the day, we have to live with that now as Bulls fans, and we need to find a way that this can work out for both Patrick Williams and for the Chicago Bulls. The first question we need to ask ourselves is, can this work out? Is the ultimate answer yes or no? And look, it's a wait-and-see approach, of course, but my initial answer would have to be yes. I do believe Patrick Williams can make this contract work, and I do believe that the Chicago Bulls can end up proving that this was a good deal overall. But it does rely a lot on Patrick Williams, as we are well aware. So yes, that's my ultimate answer. I think this contract can work, but now we need to focus on how this contract will work. Like it or not, 18 million proves that you could be relatively a decent role player, let's just say that, for Patrick Williams, and still get paid a lot of money. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people do pay on potential, and it looks like the Bulls have done that here. Patrick Williams still has potential. He's still really young. He still has ability that most Bulls players on this team doesn't have. He could arguably be our best defender next season. He's a very consistent three-point shooter. There's a lot of positives to Patrick Williams' game. And based on those positives lies the potential in which he got paid from. But at the end of the day, I think if you look at it based on what he's currently doing now, he's not worth that $18 million. So we need to discuss how he gets there. And I think mentality is going to be the first thing that we need to discuss, ladies and gentlemen. Now, like it or not as well, $18 million doesn't give you superstars these days. You're not getting paid $18 million a season and you're expecting them to be the best player on your team. It's as simple as that. That's harsh, maybe, but that is something that we now need to come to expect with Patrick Williams. 18 million shows that he needs to improve, but it doesn't necessarily show he's going to be the superstar on the team. So for those people that are, I guess, thinking that he's going to all of a sudden change and evolve into this superstar caliber player, I really feel like that window has passed. It's sailed. It's no longer there. And it's going to be up to Patrick Williams to prove me wrong. But mentality will be where I first have to discuss when it comes to Patrick Williams. There's a reason why people call him Passive P, but there's also a reason why people call him the poor. Because at the end of the day, he has two sides to his game. One side is where he can truly dominate, take over, and show his quality. We see that in glimpses. Very small glimpses, but glimpses nonetheless. And then the passive side of Patrick Williams' game is where you don't even notice him on the court. He's kind of a liability on the offensive end. He doesn't want to take the ball or take initiative on the court. And then defensively, he's always going to be there defensively, but there are some nights where he gets cooked, just like everybody else in the league. Everyone in the league every now and then gets cooked. So, it's, some moments that happens to Patrick Williams as well. So I feel like we have to find that middle ground of consistency. And I feel like that consistency comes with a mentality. And the mentality to want to be consistent each and every single season. I think that has to be the goal for Patrick Williams. We've seen him be durable. He's played 82 games 2 seasons ago. He did not do it this season, unfortunately. He did get hurt. But we've seen him be durable. We've seen him make an impact. We've seen him show glimpses of potential. We've also seen him fall away. So now we need to find a consistent barrier where we look at Patrick Williams and we think he's always going to bring the 12, 13 points per game, because hopefully you're expecting the stats to increase a little bit with this whole roster shift up. You're expecting the stats to increase a little bit, but you're expecting the consistency of his game to be there as well. It's consistency in the plus minus, consistency in the stats, consistency in everything that he does. Because that's where I feel like the biggest success will come for Patrick Williams. I just don't think superstardom is in his future. Not yet. He's going to have to prove it once for me to really get back on that bandwagon again. But if he can continue to show consistency, that is where he'll make his money worth it. That's where the 18 million will become worth it. And ultimately, we also got to remember the NBA's heading into a new kind of revenue stream where, because of TV deals and because of the tax brackets and stuff like that, I'm not really in touch with the American financing situations of basketball, but because of all these things, people are getting paid money, big money. And trust me, Patrick Williams is not that bad of a contract compared to some of the others we have seen already. So, a lot of people say this is a bad contract for the Bulls. Trust me, there are a lot worse out there than what we got for Patrick Williams. I'm actually on board with keeping Patrick Williams for this type of money, but it needs to be up to him to show not only he's worth that money, but he's worth even more money than that. And he needs to make that claim for himself. And I think consistency is where it begins. And a mentality change, or just a mentality shift, is where it begins as well for Patrick Williams. Because he's got the tools, he's got the potential, he's got everything you really need, in my opinion, to become a great basketball player. So it starts in those little things. It starts in those things that people may not pay attention to. It starts in those things that ultimately you might not be able to see on a physical side, but mentally it's something that you may not be able to see, but he will see, and hopefully he can see it. Stuff like that. Ultimately, that's where I think the biggest things will lie. But obviously, we have to talk about the stats. I mentioned stat increases. I just think if you're paying someone 18 million a season, you have to expect more than the typical 9 points that we get from him on occasion. You know what I mean? I mean, his stats for every season he's been in the league have been very, very similar. There's not much changes in between them. Maybe in the percentages and stuff of that nature, maybe plus minus wise things have changed, but ultimately he's been very, very, very similar. And maybe that is consistency in your eyes. But consistently improving, I wouldn't necessarily say that. But yes, I have to see improvements in Patrick Williams' game on the statistics side. DeMar DeRozan is not here anymore to kind of really carry the load for the Bulls. So that needs to be shared across the entire team. You're assuming Zach LaVine won't be here forever. Vucevic won't be here forever either. Those guys are essentially going to be out the door whether we like it or not. You have to assume that at the end of the day. So that responsibility needs to be shared across everybody, from Kobe to Io to Patrick Williams, Mateus Bazelis, Josh Giddey, Lonzo Ball, everybody that's still here, everybody that still has a plan in the future and a spot on this team. That responsibility needs to be shared across all of them. That's the only way you're going to get even a remote amount of wins and success. And Patrick Williams, just by basic evidence of guys leaving, he has to take some responsibility and increase that statistical side as well. And there will be no excuses next season. He'll have the ball in his hands a little bit more. He'll have probably the license to go and create his own shot a little bit more. We've seen him do that every now and then. There's no excuses, in my opinion, for Patrick Williams next season. I want to see a potential future in this. I want to see someone that's willing to improve. I want to see someone that's going to take the next step, and ultimately want to see someone that can increase in consistency and increase in his statistics as well. It's a lot to ask for, but again, he's getting paid a lot more than he did in his first 4 seasons here at the NBA. Get paid a lot more, so you have to expect. It's only natural to expect more from a guy that gets paid more. So wait and see if he could deliver on those things. And I think I'll be very generous here as well. It's not like I'm asking him to go and become an all-star for the Bulls. That's definitely not what I'm asking for, but I'm asking for gradual improvement. Can he get there? I sincerely hope so, and we'll have to wait and see. Thank you for watching. Drop a like and a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.